Alright everybody, this here is a good find I just found on eBay. It's a Phoenix model, almost ready to fly Sonic, high wing, gas powered or electric powered trainer I found on eBay. You can build it either way, and you're not going to believe the price. $92. Unbelievable price for an ARF, I think, of this quality. There's several left on eBay at the moment. Comes with a complete hardware package including wheels, bolts, everything you need. Instruction manual. It's pre-covered. We'll get out of the plastic and start putting it together. But if you want to get one of these, you better get on it now. Again, they're on eBay. Just type in Phoenix model Sonic and it should pop up. I think I got this shipping and everything was $94 or $98. Pretty good find. Just thought everybody would want to know. Ailerons come pre-hinged. This one's stuck inside there. Hopefully I'll be able to get that back out. Should be able to. It's a 52-inch wing. Some pretty good throws on there. I'm not a big fan of the tapered aileron like that, but it looks cool, I guess. So, it's a pretty good size wing there. And what's also cool is the servo bays. Look at that. That actual servo bays for your servos. And I happened to order some full-size servos just for this plane. Also found them on eBay. 4 full-size servos for 19 bucks. And then, like I said, some serious wrapping. That's going to take another 20 minutes to get all that off without cutting. You don't want to cut the film, the covering underneath. So you got to be real careful when you're unwrapping it. And then our instruction manual. I'm going to read that. Alright, so I got it out of the plastic covering. It's got everything already ready to go. And you can kind of see down in there, it actually has the push rod guide tubes in there. You're just going to slide your push rods through. It's got all the holes pre-drilled for you, no matter what you decide to do, electric or gas. And here's my favorite part. I got a little excited when I saw all this. How many kits for 90 bucks come with wheels, engine mount, if you're going to go gas or nitro, spinner. It's kind of a big spinner if you ask me, but hey, it's free. Well, kind of. Even comes with the gas tank. Hopefully the rest of it's in here somewhere. Oh, there. Here's the rest. The rest of the stuff for the gas tank. I think I might go nitro because it's all balsa wood and it's a little heavier than most electrics this size. 2-piece main gear, the nose wheel, control horns. It looks like your nose wheel stuff right there. For steerable nose wheel. Not sure what that's going to be for, but we'll find out. In a separate bag here, it's got looks like an electric motor firewall. the standoffs. It's got the standoffs and the long ass bolts that you need to displace the motor weight wise in the front. Not a lot of kits come with that. That's a really cool deal that they threw in there. So man, I think we got a pretty good deal for 90 bucks. I'm pretty sure there's probably 3 or 4 of these left on eBay. It seemed like too good of a deal to be true, but the seller had a good reputation, so I went ahead and bought it, and it's a really good deal. You know, it's got the genuine stick-on monocoat. Looks like it was ironed on. You can see they even cut it when they did all that. And this hatch comes off here, but you have to cut the monocoat right here all the way around if you're going to go electric. You want that to come off. That's what this little lever's for. I haven't even looked at the instruction book, but it's even got nice threaded bolt mounts for the wing. So it's got 2 pins and 2 bolts that hold it on. It's pretty cool. Pretty nice little kit. And they didn't go skimpy on the tape either, let me tell you. Let me get this out and I'll be right back. Alright, so getting all the hardware together for the electric motor is very confusing the way it's packaged. This set of screws and the biting lock nuts that sink into the back of the firewall is with the engine mount. But if you're going electric, you want to locate the bag with these screws in it, and you have to use the same biting nuts. I don't forget what they're called, so we're going to call them biting nuts. And those are in the bag. See, there's 4 of them with this set of washers and little biting nuts and the motor standoffs. So take the biting nuts out of that bag, and you're going to use them for your electric motor standoff mount. Took me a minute to figure all that out. So figured you might want to heads up on that. And then you got all kinds of other bags. You got your nose wheel stuff, your hardware for your elevator and rudder, extra wing bolts, and landing gear straps and wheel collars. And I'm going to go ahead, I had this in my butterfly that I never got out and flew. This motor's sitting on the front of that, and it's supposed to be about a 20 to 25 size. So we'll see how that powers this airplane, and it's nice and heavy, so I think it's going to work out. But getting the hardware straight takes a minute. And then of course you got your instructions, but they don't give you step by step. They just show you nice pretty pictures. Alright, pump the brakes real quick. We're going to want to put this nose gear hardware in here first, which the screw holes have already been drilled and everything. We're going to leave the nose gear itself off, but we'll have to use it to mount the hardware. Well, I don't know. I guess I really don't have to put the nose gear on. We can just stick the bracket on for now. Yeah, and that should be fine until we're ready to put the wheel on, or the gear itself on. But I think putting this on now, before we get everything else in here, is probably going to be the best way to do it. And hopefully we can still get at our collars and stuff if we want to put the nose gear on later, because I really want to keep it off the airplane for now. So I'm just going to put the bracket on there for now. Alright, so I just want to make it clear. We're going to use the actual screws that come with the gas-powered engine mount to suck these to the back of the firewall. If you try to use the long screws, you're not going to be able to do it. So you got to use the little screws to suck our biting nuts onto the back of the firewall, like so, with a washer. And then you just unscrew that screw, take it out, and then your nice big long one will screw right in there. Alright, can you see it down in there? I think you can. So we got those all sucked up against the back of the firewall. That's what you want it to look like. It was not easy holding those back there. Might use a pair of needle nose. That's what I did to hold them in place while I put the screw through the front. Alright, well, none of these holes in this provided firewall, standoff firewall for your electric motor, none of them fit my motor mount. So what I'm doing is cutting out a piece of basswood here that I'm going to glue over the top of this. I'll probably double this up. That way I can drill my own holes in here for my motor mount, which is just a little bit too small to fit the holes that are on that pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then these biting nuts they provide in the kit I will put behind it with these shorter Allen screws they also provide for your motor mount for your electric motor. So I don't want to make this too thick to where those screws won't go through. So I may only get to do one piece of this instead of two, but I think it'll be fine. But I wanted to show you that. It's just another modification that has to be made in order to fit my equipment. Alright, just like that. Voila. Okay, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but that'll make mounting the motor a lot easier once the standoff is in here, which we're going to do next. But yeah, see how my pattern didn't exactly match up with everything else, so I made my own little piece of basswood and glued it on top of what came with the kit, and the screws reached through no problem. Alright, so now we're going to put the standoffs, the long bolts going to the firewall, standoff, then our outer firewall for our motor, and then the motor. And my God, you know, you just step back and take a minute and look at what you've created mess-wise when you're just doing the simplest little things. I don't think I'm the only one that gets to this point to where you almost need to stop the build and tidy up, but not yet. I think we could add a few more things to it first. Alright, I've been putting the tail on the Sonic here and ran into an issue. The tail didn't exactly fit the fin. I had to sand it down big time in order to get it to fit in the slot. Still could use a little more sanding. But so far that's the only issue I've come across. Another thing is, before I glued these on, I went ahead and I glued the hinges in for the elevator and the rudder. And when I'm all done gluing these on, which I'm going to use epoxy for this, I CA'd this and dripped it down the side. So don't drip CA on your little Sonic airplane if you have one. That stuff just comes right off with CA. It's more of a sticker type covering than a heat shrink, from what I can tell. But they have a nice groove cut out for your fin. I'm going to fill that with epoxy and glue it on. This is where your control rod comes out for your rudder, which will do all that as soon as I get the fin and the elevators all on and looking good. Alright, well, I'm just doing the ailerons on the electric powered Sonic. And instead of putting full-size servos in the wing, I'm putting my 9-gram cheap eBay servos in the wing. And it's, you know, cut out and made for a big servo. There's no reason we can't just run these little 9-gram servos in there. All I did was take a piece of basswood, cut it to fit my servo, and screwed it onto the plastic piece that comes with the airplane. So you save some weight, save a lot of weight. Those servos are like 52 grams each. These are 9 grams. So you're saving a lot of weight. And it's plenty powerful enough to move this servo, to move this little aileron. So I wanted to show you that. I got this one finished, so that's what it looks like when it's all done. The hardware it comes with. You can see there where I was gonna mount it closer to the inside of the wing, but with it being a smaller servo, I flipped it around so it's a little further outboard, just so you get a little bit better bite on the servo with the little, bite on the aileron with the little servo. But I tested it out and it works great, so just wanted to show you that. Moving on. Well, hopefully I'm not making this look funnier, but since it doesn't come, it comes looking like that, I figured if we can cover up some of the ugliness, monocoat that white, glue it in place, monocoat it, because once that's on there, if we come under here, you got that big hole up in there that the fuel tank would normally come through, so all the air is going to come underneath, hit right here, and go up in there. So it's still going to get plenty of air, I think. I don't think this is going to hurt it much. It will make it look better though. I think it'll look much better with that on there versus it looking like that. Looks kind of silly, huh? Exactly. Looks much better. Especially once it's monocoated in place and glued in place. So that's the only modification I'm doing to this airplane. And it'll give us a little bit more weight up front, which we need anyway. Alright, what do you think? Think it looks better? I think it looks a lot better. What would be even cooler is to come up with some sort of half cowl here. You can barely tell that's an add-on. If you look close you can tell. But see my crappy monocoat, but it's really hard to get in that little corner. I think it looks much better. Doesn't look quite as fugly.